February 23rd, 11:56 a.m. District Court. Defendant Lobby Number 2.
Mr. Wright?
Huh? What?
Are trials always like this with you? Like you're swimming up from the bottom of a lake, or about to reach the surface, but no matter how hard you paddle up, you never seem to get there?
Pretty much. Except today we're swimming in quicksand.
So what happened to your sister anyway? Apparently she got called off to the judge's chambers.
Probably something to do with that piece of cloth.
So, this is where we turn this trial around, right? Our only weapon, a tiny, insignificant piece of cloth.
I'm the one who's starting to feel tiny and insignificant, to tell the truth. Voila, partner. They say you show a red cloth to a bull, it'll fire up its temper. That's what they told me when I was a young'un, at least.
Officer Marshall!
Thought I'd come and take a look-see at how the trial's going. Looks like I'm late. They've got the place locked down tighter than a fort in enemy territory. What is going on over there, anyway? All the police I've seen these last 2 days have really been on edge. Don't you got enough on your plate without worrying about other people, compadre? You could be worrying about the chief prosecutor's taste in mufflers, for example.
Officer Marshall? The whole muffler thing didn't have anything to do with scarves. She wasn't even wearing a scarf.
You don't say. Now don't that just beat all? I've seen the red breeze blow at her slender neck many a time. I saw it on that day too. She was wearing a red muffler.
What?
At the award ceremony that afternoon. Edgeworth's seen it too, I'd reckon.
What does that mean? In the photograph taken at the crime scene, she wasn't wearing a scarf. So, Miss Starr wasn't mistaken.
Well, it's about time. Remember, partner, sometimes you just gotta grab the bull by the horns. And sometimes you just gotta let that bull go where it will. Time will tell.
Ugh, I have a bad feeling about this. So, what are we swimming in now, Mr. Wright?
If it's steak sauce, I can hook you up with some fine ribs. Hooey! February 23rd, 12:32 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 9. I'd like to resume.
What's up? The judge keeps looking over the prosecution.
Is something wrong, Mr. Edgeworth? Your face is blue. Your lips are purple. You're sweating bullets. That furrowed brow, those grinding teeth, those watery eyes. What's more, your eyes are unfocused. You're doubled over. Your back is bent. It can't be. This can't happen.
I wonder what happened to Mr. Edgeworth.
Well then, I believe it is time we continued on with this trial. During our recess, I had requested that the prosecution conduct an investigation. This is unacceptable! It seems our prosecutor is quite beside himself. Excuse me. Knock, knock. Who's there?
What is with this guy? A strange, stuffy aura seems to be filling the courtroom. Hey, the temperature rose 5.7 degrees when that man came in. Who on earth is he? Ah, it's you. This is kind of weird. Creep me out.
Oh! Sorry I'm late, Uji. Uji, for the roads were packed, it's just me. Long time no see, eh, Uji? How you been? Swim much these days? Hello. No, I've been so busy. Busy smidgy. Uji, my boy, you have to make time to relax. Yes, indeed.
Uji seems to be his nickname for the judge.
I'm afraid you're right. Very afraid. Sorry, but who are you? Aha! So you're Righto, the attorney. I've heard good things about you, son. Thanks? So sorry about our little Worthy giving you all that trouble, eh? You know, we should all go swimming together sometime. Jolly. Little Worthy? Mr. Wright! You don't know the district chief of police? Chief of police? He's the top-ranking police officer in the entire district! Name's Gant. Damon Gant. Pleased to meet you, everyone. So, to what do we owe this honor today? It's been over 2 years since you last came to this courtroom, hasn't it? Well, it's Worthy here. Look at the poor fellow. I just thought I'd help out by bringing this. Hey! That's my sister's muffler! So Miss Starr wasn't just seeing things. When the crime occurred, this guy really was wearing that muffler. But to think that this was stuffed into that exhaust pipe. On little Worthy's car, no less. Why is he staring at me? It's really quite embarrassing, even for us. What's this? It's what you'd call a switchblade knife. Quite perplexing, this. What? Chief! What kind of outfit are you running? Mr. Edgeworth! How could they miss such a vital piece of evidence? If your investigators are this lax, how do you expect us to do all your job? Now wait a minute, Worthy. I've no desire to hear your excuses. I'm telling you to wait. Or didn't you hear me? Have you looked at this document, where it says person in charge of investigation? There's no mistaking that signature. Miles Edgeworth? That's not fair! The day of the crime, I had your head in the clouds because you got that award. I know how you feel. But you're the person in charge. I'd expect a written apology. What? Are you serious? Don't be too upset. We'll find a way to clean up this mess that you made. This is the first time I've seen Mr. Edgeworth at a loss for words. This kind of major blunder is unlike you, Mr. Edgeworth. Court accepts this new evidence. But I'd like to ask the defense a favor first. Yes? Just to be sure, I'd like to take a look at the blade of this knife. The blade, Your Honor? Well, I don't see why not. Could you open it up for me, I wonder? Yes. Well, I think all you have to do is push the switch and... If I cut my finger, Mr. Wright, I wouldn't be able to pound my gavel anymore. Yeah, but if I cut my finger, I won't be able to point it at people anymore. Come on, just hurry up and open it. Alright. Switchblade knife. Okay. Has a tag on it. There's a small tag on this knife. It seems to say SL92. What does that mean? Well, I've read something similar. DL6, of DL6 incident fame. But it's strange. Huh? What is? I'm not certain, but I get the feeling that I've seen this somewhere. Letters like this, or letters that looked a lot like this somehow. So, what else is on this? This is well made, I must admit. And, oh, this must be the latch. Ah! Don't scare me like that! I'm the one who's scared! Look at this knife blade! The tip is broken off! And this dark red stain. Blood? Switchblade adds. Better take notes on this. This does not excuse the actions of the police department! I would like to hear your explanation from the chief of police himself. I'm terribly sorry, but can I ask you to testify for us? About the split between the prosecutors and the police, and this knife? Sure thing. Not a problem, not even a little one, really. Department in disorder. This knife is special, but I can't say how here. Unless there's evidence to prove a connection between this knife and Goodman. That was a bad day for the department. We weren't in any shape to do an investigation. A detective was killed at the police department. See? What a mess. The time of the crime? 5:15. Scary coincidence, eh? It's not officially linked to this here case, so I can't talk much about it. There was a murder at the police department? A detective? That's hush information, Udgy. We haven't exactly announced it yet. Wait a second! You said 5:15! That's the exact time that Detective Goodman was killed at the prosecutor's office! Order! 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 Anyway, we at the department were all aflustered, as you might well assume. We're in the middle of a top secret investigation. Don't tell anyone, okay? I think we understand the police department's situation. Well, Mr. Wright, 2 detectives killed at the same time in 2 different places. The chances of that are really slim, scientifically speaking, of course. I'd like to exercise my right to cross-examine the witness. Very well. However, keep your questions focused on the case at hand. Right. I need more information. This knife is special, but I can't say how here. Excuse me, special? Mm-hmm. Hard to come by this particular knife anywhere else. Might this special thing be this little tag? Oh, sorry, Righto, but I can't say that now, not that. We've established that the knife in Goodman's chest was this knife. Now, why was there another knife at the scene of the crime? That's quite a mystery. And like a mystery, it's wrapped in something. A muffler. Unless there's evidence to prove a connection between this knife and Goodman. This knife was found on the scene of our crime. I think that makes it connected to this case, don't you? See, there's a lot of things that go on in the department I can't explain. It's delicate, okay? Sorry, Righto. Maybe there's something about that knife that will give us the clue. Let's examine that knife where we can, Righto. Evidence that links this knife to Detective Goodman. I think perhaps the pieces are falling into place. I should try presenting the piece of evidence that's had me stumped all this time. So, how are things down at the department? It was a bad day for the department. We weren't in any shape to do an investigation, right? But anyway, then I need evidence to prove a connection between the knife and Goodman. Let's look at that knife once more, shall we? It's found at the crime rather than the defendant's muffler, but there was a small tag attached to it. Let's examine this one more time. Can I examine the blade edge, the tip of the blade a little bit better? Doesn't seem so. Well, then I guess all I can do is examine this tag. There's a small tag on the knife. It says SL92. I'm not sure what it means, but it reminds me of a similar code. Like DL6. Maybe it's a case number? That's weird. What? I don't remember where, but I think I've seen something like this before. Something similar to what's written on this tag. It wasn't that long ago either. Maybe I should check the court record again. Let's see what Chief of Police Gant has to say. Something didn't happen at the police department too, did it? You got a good look in your eyes there, Righto, my boy. Sharp, hungry. Chief, did something happen? Why haven't I heard? Why haven't you heard? Well, why didn't you ask? No matter, I understand. You were busy with Lana's case and all. Well, what happened? What happened at the police department that day? The detective was killed at the police department, see? What a mess. Hold it.
On the same day that a detective was killed in the prosecutor's parking lot, another detective was killed at the police department? That's a fact. Surprising, isn't it, Udgy? I'm at a loss for words. And the perpetrator? Do you have a suspect? Well, there was a suspect. Just arrested him, in fact. Just arrested? That was quick. But there's still a lot of unanswered questions. Maybe you could help, right? I suppose I could help, if you help me by giving me data on your case. Oh, good one. This kid's sharp. Okay, here's the deal. I'll tell you one thing, and one thing only. One, I don't need to know when the victim died or how the victim was killed. It was because of the knife. When the victim died, we know that. So where is the victim found? So tell me, where was the victim found? Well, I can't speak on where the corpse was found. But I can say the crime took place in the evidence room at the police department. The evidence room? You wouldn't know about the evidence room, would you, Rido? I can't say I've heard of it. I guess I should ask again once I learn a bit more of this evidence room. There's something stranger than the place where the body was found. The time of the crime? 5:15. Scary coincidence, eh? 5:15? But that's when Detective Goodman was killed in the prosecutor's office. What? Funny, isn't it? A murder at the prosecutor's place and a murder at our place at the very same time. What are the chances? Coincidence? This is just my gut feeling, but I'd say there's a 0.001% chance of that happening. Chief Gant, please tell us more about the incident. It's not officially linked to this here case, so I can't talk much about it. Seriously? How can you say that? There's no connection. How? Because I'm the chief of police. I can't just say anything I please, Rido. You understand. Try to understand, Rido. Well, if you can prove there is a connection, more power to you. Maybe there is something that ties the two murders together. Whatever it is, I'd better find it and get to the bottom of this. Two detectives were killed at 5:15. One in the prosecutor's office, and one in the police department. That can't be a coincidence. And that knife! What was it doing there? I'd better check this knife out. This knife is special, but I can't say how here, right? So, obviously there's something that can be linked. There's obviously a connection somewhere with this switchblade knife. Yeah. There's a small tag on it that says SL92. Is that a case name, maybe? Well, let's look at the evidence I didn't use yet. I got this memo in the car's trunk, right? It says 6-7S 12-2. December 2nd has nothing to do with it. I don't know what this... Hang on a second. I get it! Wait a second! At last, an honest-to-goodness objection! This knife. This has to have something to do with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? An honest-to-goodness what do you mean from the judge? This is great. Look at the tag on this knife. It reads SL92. And this is important. Why? Over here, we also have a memo that was on the body of the victim. What's this? 6-7S 12-2? No, Your Honor, it's upside down. Upside... The printed name on the memo makes it look like it's right side up. But to turn it around, and what do you get? Aha! When he wrote this note, he was holding his paper upside down. SL9. The same thing that was written on the knife's tag. Order! Order! Well Chief? Well, I guess the cat's out of the bag. You win, Righto. I win? What game is this guy playing? This knife was evidence in a case. It was stolen from the department's evidence room. So this knife was stolen? Yes, but on the day of the murder. It was evidence, you say. Was it, in fact, a murder weapon? Nice! 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 Good show, Little Worthy. It was a murder weapon, as it happens. It was evidence from a case long since solved. So this knife was stolen on the day of the murder. And it was found in the exhaust pipe of the Edgeworth's car. Hard to think there isn't a connection there. That was a bad day for the department. We weren't in any shape to do an investigation. Something didn't happen at the police department too, did it? Got good eyes, so he's just going, Chief, did something happen? Why haven't I heard about it? Why haven't you heard? Why didn't you ask? Right. He's going to continue talking about the police department. The detective was killed at the police department. See, what a mess. Time of the crime? Maybe he'll talk a little bit more. No, there's nothing changed here. Time of the crime is 5:15. Ah, now here's where it is. I'm sure that he can tell me something new about this one. Right? How can you say there's no connection? How? Because I'm the chief of police. I can't just say anything I please, Righto. You understand? Try to understand, Righto. Well, if you can prove this connection, more power to you. Maybe there is something that ties the two murders together? Whatever it is, I'd better find it and get to the bottom of this. Well... And that knife! Well, we already proved what that knife is doing there. Right. On the same day the detective was killed in the prosecutor's parking lot, another detective was killed in the police department? Well, that's a fact. Surprising, isn't it, Aji? I'm at a loss for words. Get to the new part. Well, there was a suspect. Just estimate fact. Well, that was quick. Well, I suppose I could help, but is there any information on the case? Oh, good one! Nice kid, sharp. Okay, here's the deal. I'll tell you one thing and one thing only. Where is he found? Are you gonna tell me that now? Where's the victim found? Well, I can't speak on where the corpse is found. But I can say the crime took place at the evidence room of the police department. Wait a second! I've heard of that! The evidence room. Didn't he mention that his testimony just now? This knife was evidence for a case. It was stolen from the department's evidence room. There's the connection between the two cases. You seem happy, Mr. Wright. Happy? We just got handed out a ticket to go to town on this case. With the link between the two cases established, we finally have some leverage. Now we can get Gant to testify about the details. I'm not officially linked to this here case, so I can't talk much about it. Hold it! Chief, the defense's position is simply this. The connection between the two cases have already been proven. You don't say. Well, out with it, Righto. What's your connection? Yes, out with it, Mr. Wright. The connection is the place mentioned in the testimony we just heard. The knife found at the lot was stolen from the police department's evidence room. Not to mention the victim had written down the numbers on the knife's evidence tag. And we also know that the defense murdered at the police department. That the detective... What? No! Well, the defense wasn't murdered, or didn't murder anybody. The detective was murdered at the police department. And was killed at the very same evidence room. Indeed. They do seem to be too many connections for it to be a coincidence. Why is he staring at me? It's creepy. You two make a good pair. It's like I took my men 2 days to find out what you deduced right here. Chief! I request that you release your information on the victim at the police department. See, that's the tricky part. It hasn't been announced yet and all. Can we get the information unofficially? Sure, why not? It's unofficial after all. What? Really? Who'd have guessed? I'll cooperate, but I can't reveal the name of the victim at the department, okay? If you're going to tell us little, why not tell us everything? Ah, well, case information is sticky stuff. You have to do everything properly. Oh well, I guess I might as well try to get what I can out of him. I'm just gonna go out on a limb here and say, what was his ID number? Why don't you tell me the victim's ID number? Huh? Sure, why not? It's not like you'll be able to tell who it is from that. Of course not. You won't tell me their name after all. We keep a tight lid on ID numbers, so don't go getting your hopes up. The number is 5842189. Well, that's quite long. And we have to remember these. It drives me nuts. 82. I can't do it. You didn't even get the first number right. Well, Mr. Wright, does this tell you anything? The ID number of the victim of the police department. 5842189. Could it be? Of course. This tells me something. Actually, it does, Your Honor. It does. I think. Meaning, it has to be what I think it is. But what does this mean? Well, let's hear what the defense has to say. You say the ID number of the detective who was murdered at the police department tells you something? What does it tell you? Take that! Witness. What is it, Mr. Wright? You're grinning like the schoolgirl on prom night. No, it's just, I got confused. And this is news? Huh? Just come out with both guns blazing, like you always do. The police department, the prosecutor's office. 2 places, 2 detectives murdered at one time. Actually, I happen to have a police ID number here. Oh, is it yours? No, Your Honor, I'm a defense attorney, remember? This is the ID number of our victim, Detective Goodman. Shame on you, Righto. Personnel IDs are top secret. Detective Goodman's ID number is 5842189. And this means what exactly? Huh? Wait, that ID number we heard from the chief earlier. That started with 82. I've forgotten. You even got the first number wrong. The number the chief of police gave us was 5842189. Wait a second, Wright. What does this mean? That's what I want to know. The 2 ID numbers are identical. In other words, the detective killed in the police department's evidence room was Bruce Goodman. What does our witness think about that? Sharp as a tack, Righto. Sharp as a tack. But wait, Detective Goodman is our victim. He was killed at 5:15 in the underground parking lot. Yet a Detective Bruce Goodman was also killed at police department. In the evidence room at the exact same time. That's impossible. So what you're saying is, the same person was killed at the same time? And in a completely different location? Order. Chief, what does this mean? No. What I want to know is, why didn't I hear this? Yes, it's top secret, fine, but I'm the prosecutor in charge of this case. Now, just wait a second, Worthy. No need to get all flustered. Your Honor, the police department has made a grave error in this case. Wait. I said wait! Or didn't you hear me? The oversight, the grave error, Mr. Edgeworth, they're yours. What? How? How dare? We informed you yesterday. I believe it was our Officer Meekins who brought you the news. Officer Meekins? Mr. Wright! Where have we heard that name before? Wait, aha! Excuse me, but is Mr. Edgeworth anywhere on the premises? I'm here, sir, at the request of the chief, sir. I've got your report, sir. You don't mean him? According to Meekins, you didn't accept the report? Hard to believe. But your officer, he told me. He said that report had nothing to do with the Lana Sky incident. Detective Bruce Goodman murdered the police department evidence room. Mr. Edgeworth, the victim's name is written right on top of the report. Gah! But why didn't your officer tell me? Honestly, I'm not sure if that officer was capable of making the connection. He did seem challenged. In any case, this is a serious error, a gross negligence on duty on your part, Worthy. But sir, you could have submitted that report this morning to the court as evidence. Then No such luck this time, Worthy. Or should I say, unworthy. What? Now, what was that, the second rule of evidence law, Well, Mr. Wright? Huh? Well, it's, rule number 2. New evidence may only be submitted if it concerns the case on trial. And how is that relevant? Normally, you submit a list of evidence to be used in court before the trial. This report wasn't on that list. So, what does this mean? I couldn't submit this evidence until a connection was proven in court. Ugh. The connection was just proven by Wright over there. Good job, Wright, my boy. I was just doing my job. No. No! It seems we have come to the end of this trial. Yeah, you are becoming a thorn in my side, Worthy. There have been rumors. After all, you were in the defendant's chair just last year. I apologize for this terrible lack of due diligence on my part. Mr. Edgeworth, please, just give me one more day. I'll get to the bottom of what happened, if it's the last thing I do. You'd better get results this time, really. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Poor Mr. Edgeworth. I don't think there's ever been an error this series in the history of this court. We will grant one further day for the prosecution as requested. Would this be sufficient, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. Whatever your punishment for this is, for your sake I hope it's not decisive. Very well. Court is adjourned. Yikes. We just barely got out of that. Yikes. Well, we have one more day at least. But it's not like Edgeworth to mess up like that. Huh. What was with that chief of police? Damon Gant? He was disturbing. He kept staring at us for some reason. For long pauses. Anyway, this is Let's Play Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Rise from the Ashes on Luigiman 64D. See you next time when we get to investigate a bit more. See ya.